Hello once again, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Tom Collier, the Painting Fool. I hope this finds everyone enjoying the summer and that you had a fun and safe Independence Day holiday. Today I'm going to have my first go with the Hake brush. I've never used one, but I'm intrigued by those artists who are mastering the technique. Let me show you what they look like. I have two. I have a large and a small. These are designed by and for Ron Ranson. He's a famous watercolor artist that kind of perfected the style using these brushes. He's now not with us any longer, but his legacy lives on. There are several well-known artists that prescribe to his philosophy about painting in watercolor. These are quite, they look kind of ugly actually, you know. I mean, it's just a long wood handle with bristles sewn in. They use goat hair, sometimes ram hair on these, and the magic of goat hair is that when it's wet, it's not springy like a lot of synthetic brushes. Like this, you know, when they're dry, they snap back. But when this brush gets wet, it's going to stay however you use it. If you push down like this, when you lift it up, those bristles are going to stay in like that. If you spread it all out, mash it all up, they'll stay that way. You can use the corners. You can also get actually almost a razor sharp flat edge on the end of these things, and they hold just a ton of water, so they're kind of a unique tool. And here's a book that I bought from that is by Ron Ranson explaining his big brush watercolor technique. I'm about a third of the way through it. He does a real good job of simply explaining, you know, what he's all about, what his philosophy is, and so we'll see how it goes. I'm not using a photo reference for this painting, but will be painting from my imagination. I have no idea how well it will go, as it's my first experience with a completely new and different approach to watercoloring. I'll be using both the large and the small Ron Ranson Hake brushes and a 3/4 inch flat silver brush, black velvet, and a number 0 rigger. My paints are by Lucas Aquarel, 1862, and the paper is 11 by 14, 300 pound, fluid 100. Cold press. I think the book, you know, will help me a little bit, but you know, still there's going to be a learning curve, and the best teacher is experience. I thank you for your support, and please consider subscribing. Don't forget to click on the little bell. You'll receive notifications whenever I post new videos. That's enough talking for now. Let's get started. Okay, folks, here we are again. My first try with the Hake, so I'm a little nervous because this is all new to me, but you know, some things are the same. I'm wetting the entire sheet of paper here, and we'll proceed from there. We'll try to get a sky in, and that's almost always how I work. I usually start up in the sky. In this case, putting in raw sienna and this will fade down to just kind of a nice glow in the background. I hope. For large portions of this, I'm just going to let the picture speak for itself. So now adding a little ultramarine and burnt umber together, create kind of a gray. Put some form into the cloud area, and now some distant tree lines. If you look closely, you can see that the goat hair in this Hake brush has just, kind of bent up, and it's holding its position there and works well for foliage and all kinds of things. You can kind of use the corners a little bit. I'm using only 7 colors, which is what Ron Ranson recommended and used, and they're ultramarine blue, lemon yellow, Payne's gray, alizarin crimson, raw sienna, burnt umber, and cadmium red light. You notice there are no greens in that palette. You have to mix your greens using combinations of blue and yellow. Which sometimes gives you more natural looking green colors than come straight out of a tube anyway. So we'll try it. Put some foreground in. For large sections of this, I'm just going to kind of be quiet and just, let you watch. Keep in mind, this is a learning process for me, so listen to the background music and enjoy the show. I'll talk to you in a little while. I have to apologize for getting my big fat head in the picture. I'm using a little different camera angle than I'm used to, so obviously don't really have it in an optimal position, but I'll get better at this. There are times when I'm just kind of blocking the shot. I don't know if you noticed when I put those tree trunks in, I use the edge, just the very edge. You can squeeze the water out and flatten the Hake brush down almost, to a razor sharp edge, and allows you to be able to do some fairly fine lines. Scrape in a few little rocks in the foreground here. As I said in the introduction, I'm working from my vivid imagination. This actually kind of reminds me a bit of a scene from when my wife and son and I went camping over near Hayward, Wisconsin. And our campground kind of had a view of the river similar to this. I didn't necessarily have that in mind when I started this, but that's the way it's kind of turning out. So it must be something that was kind of buried in my way back in my subconscious, I guess. I've got my rigger out. I'm putting some of the smaller branches in now. There's my big old head in the shot again. My wife Jerry says I've got a huge head. I think it's just the right size for the rest of me because I'm kind of a big boy, so. And besides, it takes a big head to hold all the brains I have, right? We're going to call that a done deal, so I'm going to sign off on this. Hope you enjoyed watching it. It was a learning experience for me, but I think I did pick up a few tricks along the way. This is called River Run, and my first attempt with the Hake brush. So thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate you tuning in, and I hope that you'll consider subscribing. Ring the bell for notifications, and we'll see you on the next go around.